Hello and aloha! I'm Patrick Akes. I'm the California Hawaii Elks Association Public Relations Chairman. Woo! It is great to be an elk. I have the privilege to sit down and have a one-on-one interview with past association president Anthony Mauro. Anthony Mauro was the California Hawaii Elks Association president 1995 through 1996. He was a past grand trustee as well. You are going to love this interview.
I'm Anthony Mauro, past state president, past grand trustee, Hollister Elks Lodge number 1436.
Well, thank you very much for being with me today.
No problem.
What made you want to join the Elks?
That's an interesting story. In 1964, I became engaged with my wife, or my future wife, and her family put on a little reception party at their house, and her sister and brother-in-law happened to be there, and we got to talking, and my future brother-in-law said, I have something for you. And I said, oh, is that right? So he reached in his pocket and he pulls out this application, and it was for the Elks Lodge. And well, come to find out, he was the exalted ruler of the Hollister Elks Lodge at that time. And I looked at it and I said, I don't want to join the Elks. I said, I know nothing about it. And her sister looked at me and said, Anthony, she says, you did want to marry my sister, right? So I immediately signed the application, turned it in, and I became a member in December of '64, and we got married in February of '65.
Wow.
And it was, like I said, it was interesting because they gave me the membership chairmanship as soon as I was initiated. And then the next year I became Tyler, and then I became InterGuard. And they told me, they said, well, now that you're InterGuard, Hollister Lodge has a unique situation that every officer has to attend state convention. And you have to attend a major project march. And it's all at your expense. Well, we had just been married, and it was kind of tough for us, but we did go, and the major project march in those days was on Saturday. And so Saturday, we're sitting there in the convention center, and the little child comes up, and there's tears flowing from all of our eyes. And I looked at my wife and I says, you know something? I says, we just got hooked forever. And that's the way it's been.
Oh, yeah. Those marches are very touching.
Oh, yep, very much so.
Yeah. When you watch that child go across the stage riding a bicycle when they couldn't walk, do anything else, and now now they're playing on stage, oh, it just tugs at your heartstrings.
You can't believe it. Yeah, it still gives goosebumps to me every time I see it.
What year were you exalted ruler?
1971.
As exalted ruler, did you have goals for your lodge?
Oh, yeah. Well, I had membership gold, and my main thing was, and I still believe the same thing today, is we need to get along with one another. Regardless of what you think of a person, you're an elk. I don't care if you are angry at somebody, you still put out your hand and welcome them into the lodge. And that's been my belief in my whole time in the Elks. And I try to project that all the time.
That's wonderful. And did you have any other goals as exalted ruler other than membership?
Well, membership, I wanted to see the major project grow and the ENF grow, but the main thing was harmony, and we did succeed. The only thing is, my year was kind of interrupted because I was installed in April, of course, and about the third week of April, we were having a trustees meeting, and we had a lodge. It was upstairs in an old building. It was our building. And a piece of plaster fell and just missed one of our trustees. And somebody called the city, and the fire marshal came up, and he condemned the building on us. And I said, it's a piece of plaster. We're going to take care of it right away. And he refused, and it was going to cost us over $1 million to fix the building, to put it up to code and everything else. So most of my year was finding a different location for us to meet every week. And, between the SDES Hall, the Granger's Hall, the Gilroy Elks Lodge, we just, wherever we could meet, that's where we met. And then we found a building out at the airport that we were able to sign a contract on, but it had been a former, well, it was originally the Navy Officers Club. And because the Navy owned the whole airport area. As a matter of fact, they still do. They lease it back to the city. And so we were able to sign a contract, but we had to go in there, and I called the membership up and I said, bring your hammers, chainsaws, whatever you have. I said, bring them out and we're going to start remodeling. And we finally got it finished just before right after the installation in 1972. And because we were installed, the new installation was done in Gilroy Lodge. And then we were able to return to Hollister and open up our facility, which we're still there today. But it was, like I said, things changed immediately after that happened. So, you try to do your goals, but at the same time, you're trying to keep the lodge running. So it was a hectic time.
Well, how did you get involved in the chairs?
Well, like I said, in '64, I was attending all the meetings once I became a member, and they assigned me to the membership. And then they asked me to be a tiler. In those days, the tiler did all the functions for the lodge. Every function that came up was a tiler's duty and make sure it was set. And then the following year, a friend of mine for, many, many years said, we would like to have you become inner guard. And so I said, okay, fine. I talked to my wife and she said, let's do it. And so I became the inner guard. And, and like I said, it just went all the way through. The only chair I ever skipped was the Loyal Knights chair. And that was because the Loyal Knight ahead of me decided to drop out. And they were going to put a guy in there that only had 2 years experience. And I said, no. I said, you really need, experience. I like to see people progress through the chairs so they get all the experience necessary. And so I jumped to leading knight and then became exalted ruler in '71.
And do you regret skipping that chair at all?
Yeah, I would have liked to have been loyal knight. I always had the intention, because I was young, and I always had the intention of going through all the chairs. But, it's one of those things. It was, for me, it was either do it and then let a person in there that wasn't really qualified to do the other position. And all of the office decided to all jump up and put him at the beginning. So it worked out.
Yeah. Did you ever go back and do that Loyal Knights chair?
I have done it in the past for installations and things like that, but not to participate as in the chair itself.
Not a full-time Loyal Knight.
That's right.
Okay. What year were you vice president?
I was vice president in 1982-83 with Frank Keller.
Your association president was Ken Moore.
Ken Moore, that's correct.
Okay. What year did you become association president?
In 1995.
Okay. And did you have goals for C.H.E.A?
Oh, yeah. My goals were, again, I wanted to see everybody work together peacefully. I wanted to see the major project grow, because when I was president, the major project had not grown in a few years. It had been dropping. And so my goal was to make sure it picked up, and a membership was another goal for me. But and actually, I did accomplish something. I happened to be on an ad hoc committee with Tim Martin and a few other people a couple of years before, and we discussed what we could do for the major project. And I had actually, he ended up my vice president when I was president from Sunnyvale Lodge. He had instigated what's called the 52 Club over there. And I fell in love with it. I thought this is a great way to stimulate, people to start giving money. So I asked his permission to use it as a state project, and he said, go for it. And I actually put in the 52 Club and the Century Club in my year. And then Tim, out of the ad hoc committee, came up with the Millennium and the legacy funds and everything else like that. And that was the first year that the major project grew. Actually, we grew by $42,000, if I remember the figures correct. And I was totally overwhelmed, I'll tell you. It was absolutely fantastic that that happened. And like I said, I wanted harmony in the lodges, and we really didn't have too many problems in the lodges that year. Like I said, I felt we accomplished our goal. Membership, I can't remember, but I think we were stable. I don't believe we ended up with a loss or anything, but we didn't have really that big of a gain either. You know, it was just kind of stable.
What was your motto the year you were your association president?
My motto was Elkdom for a richer tomorrow.
Elkdom for a richer tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So out of the goals that you put forth as president, do you think you accomplished all the goals?
I think I came close to it. Like I said, membership was not that great, okay, but everything else, I think we really did.
Okay.
Oh yeah, my wife is sitting over there, and she just reminded me we did accomplish one goal in 1995 at the Grand Lodge Convention. It was brought up to bring women in, and they were going to ratify it. It had to go to all the lodges. California at that time was not all totally in favor of this. And normally a state president only makes 25 to 30 visits a year. That year I made 68 visits. I went to, I would say a little over half of the, or excuse me, not quite half of the total, because at that time I think we had 187 lodges in California, Hawaii. But I hit most of the lodges that were rejecting it, and made a personal visit, talked to the membership. We had private meetings and everything else. And when it came time to ratify, California passed it. And I feel that was a super accomplishment on California, my part, but California's part. We all worked hard to do this. And I think it's become a big success. I know in our lodge, we have, I would say, probably 100 women out of the 424 people, or we're right now at 450. They are all active. I mean, I feel that most of the lodges that have a majority of women in them are very successful. The ones that want to stay, you know, the old way, let's put it that way, are not that successful.
Yeah, women definitely made a big difference in Elkdom.
Yep.
The way I understand it, if it wasn't for the women coming in as members, majority of our lodges we would have lost years ago.
That's correct.
Yeah. So that was definitely an accomplishment. So thank you with that.
Uh-huh.
Other than being C.H.E.A president, what was your favorite association job?
Well, there's the one that I really enjoyed was right after I became president. Don Capello asked me if I would be chairman of a new committee they were forming, and it was called the Meetings Committee. And Frank Keller was part of it a few years after that. But at that time, they weren't able to get any bookings for hotels or anything for conventions, midterms, stuff like that. They were only 2 years out. And I was chairman for 5 years of that committee. And I'm happy to say that I instigated a program which is working today. And we started out in San Diego at the Town and Country. I met with them, with the committee and the local committee and our committee, and asked them what they would do for us for, you know, a convention, and they gave us some figures. I says, what if we do it year after next again? So they gave us a better figure. And then I said, okay, and say that we go on another 2 years and have it again. We have it 3 times. And they looked at me and they says, how many of these do you want to figure? And being a businessman, I always like negotiating. And so I told them, I said, well, let's work on 3 and see what we can come out with. And we got a super deal, and hotel wise. And at that time, we discussed meals, rooms, everything. And they locked us into a good contract for 3 years. Then we went to Fresno and did the same thing there. And by the time I was through, we had a little over 10 years of conventions, midterms, everything signed to contract. It was all approved by the trustees. And that's the way they've been working today too. They're still trying to get that multiple contract, because that does prove out. It's giving the hotel, they know that they're going to have somebody there in 2 years, maybe 4 years from then. But and it works out for us too.
Yes, it does. Definitely makes a big difference when you know where you're going every year.
That's right.
As you come in as exalted ruler and you go, okay, this is where I'm going for my state convention.
That's right.
My Grand Lodge convention, my midterm convention, you know. So that's always pretty awesome. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
President Brad Smith's slogan this year is building Elks legacy. What would you want your legacy to be? That's
a tough one. To me, I would like everybody to understand that I'm the type person that I want everybody to get along. I would like my legacy to be that that we have harmony in all the lodges, and that to me would be something that I think it would be tremendous. If people could if the members could just get along with one another. I'm one of those people that's never been prejudiced or against anything. I feel that my beliefs are mine, and everybody else should have their own beliefs, and I won't interfere with them. They don't interfere with me. And I think, to me, that's harmony, and everybody should feel the same way. Regrettably, that it doesn't always work that way. But I would love to see lodges not have to file charges against one another and all these type of things. Why can't we just be together and enjoy one another? You know, that to me is what I would consider a legacy for me.
What do you like to do on your free time?
Well, besides working at the lodge and taking care of other lodges, you know, problems and everything, because I'm assigned to a few lodges. I do puzzles in my spare time. I love to do puzzles, and I do, I don't know if you know what the new Legos things are, you know, building those. My daughter's got me started on, well, first a typewriter, and I built that. And so it's a similar type working typewriter. It doesn't really type, but everything functions on it. It's amazing. And then they gave me a grand piano, and I built that. That had, I think, 60 some hundred pieces. I have just finished the Coliseum that they gave me. That has 10,000 pieces. And I'll tell you, that was one of the toughest I have ever done. And building puzzles, my daughters like to give me challenges, and usually puzzles are square, you know, and you just fill in the pieces. Well, my daughter found a typewriter the other day and gave it to me for my birthday. And it's a typewriter layout. It does not square off. It kind of rolls around. The pieces don't interlock. Some of them just touch one another, and they're interlocked when you do the inside. And like I said, that's turned out to be one of the roughest ones I've ever done. I'm still working on it. It's been about 3 weeks or a month now, I think, something like that. But I mean, to me, it's relaxing. My mind is at ease, even though I'm under a lot of pressure. I mean, not pressure, but challenges trying to get things done. It is relaxing because it gives me different thoughts other than, you know, what problem is here and what problem is there.
Right. Okay. So after you became association president, what did you do afterwards?
Well, after my association presidency, I was the, like I say, the membership, or not membership, the meetings committee chair. And then I worked on different projects with our sponsors they asked me to do different things, and I did different things. I'm not going to go into detail on that. But then I was asked to go on the Grand Lodge lodge activities, or yeah, well, let's see, at that time it was called something else, but it ended up lodge activities position. And I served on that for 3 years. And that was a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of different people. And then after that, I ended up, when I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, Ken Moore came up to me and said, we would like you to take a Grand Lodge position as far as officership. And I said, oh, great. I says, is that the Loyal Knights position? And he said, no. He said, this one here's a 4-year position. And I said, you mean Grand Trustee? And he says, yes. And I said, and before I could answer, my wife says, he'll take it. and that to me was the most fun position I think I've ever had in the history of the Elks that I've been through. It was a lot of fun. I have met people all over the United States. Matter of fact, my wife still communicates with a lot of the women on the internet. It's great. When we go to conventions, we meet up with them, and we really have enjoyed it.
Good. Or did you ever consider that you wanted to be association president?
Actually, it just kind of, first I was a Gold Coat chairman at that time. That was before the Blue Coats. I was Gold Coat chairman for 5 years. And then my district came up to me and said, we'd like you to put you in as the C.H.E.A trustee. And I said, okay, fine. So I was there for 3 years. And in my last year, they were going to nominate me as chairman. And one of our advisors, one of our sponsors came up to me and said, we'd like you to nominate this other person. I said, fine. And so I nominated the other person, and all at once the other trustees said, you know, you just lost out as president, because as a chairman, you would become president. And I said, you know, I says, whatever it is, it is. I'm one of these that I do what I'm asked, and if I don't like it, I won't do it, you know. And so I finished up my 3 years, and at the end of my 3rd year, Don DePello, Ken Moore, and Marvin Lewis were at the meeting, and they came into the meeting. They were at the meeting, and they all stood up and they said, Anthony, we need to see you in private. I said, sure. And so they went in. We went into a private room at the state office, and they said, we have decided that we would like to have you as the next state president. It was the vice president at large at that time. And it's funny because Jack Parker was at large, and Rex Dongler was the next one at large, and I was large. So they continued at the at large. And so they said, you can talk to your wife and see what she says. And I said, well, I'm sure my wife is going to say yes. So I'll tell you right now, yes, I would be happy to do that. And it went from there. I mean, that was a great year. I mean, we really had a lot of fun, even though we were, actually, we were both working at the time too, and I had just sold my business to a corporation, and they wanted my wife and I to work for them. So what we did is Monday through Thursday, or actually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, take that back. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we would work almost a 60-hour week. And then Thursday morning, we would, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah. Thursday, we would take off and go to the visitations, and we would be back Sunday morning. And as soon as we get back, we go back to work, and we'd work through Wednesday again. And because I know some of the people in the corporation were complaining, why is Anthony taking off so much? And the president of the company says, you put in the hours that they put in, I'll do the same thing for you. And then everybody kept quiet. But we enjoyed traveling around and seeing everybody. It was a fantastic time.
It's wonderful.
I'll tell you, Ken was a tremendous individual. when I was selected as vice president for my district, my name, of course, was turned in. And before we were, in those days, we had two separate meetings, one in the north and one in the south. One was around Arcadia, the other one was in Sacramento. And Ken calls. Well, actually, I was at work and the phone call comes in. They said, there's a guy, Ken Moore, wants to talk to you. And so I picked up the phone and he says, Anthony, he says, this is Ken. And he says, Ken Moore, he says, I'm going to be the new president. You're going to be one of my vice presidents. I said, oh, yeah. I said, really? And we got to talking and he says, I can't wait to meet you and Carol. And he says, I will see you in Sacramento. And, you know, like I said, Ken was one of the friendliest people. He's the guy that really got me going on friendliness. He was a guy that whenever you were at convention, you would walk into the convention center or the hotel where he was staying, and he was out there in the registration area, and he was greeting all the members as they came in. He would put out his hand, Anthony, how you doing? And shake hands with him, which I still do today. I see somebody and my hand is right there. And the other thing that he did, which I'll never forget, is every Christmas, just before Christmas, he would call and wish Carol and I a Merry Christmas. Every single year. It was just unbelievable. And if I didn't get a call by a certain date, I'd call him and wish him a happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, actually. The thing that really got me was the last one, the last Christmas. Never got a call, so I called. And I said, I'd like to speak to Ken. And they said, I'm sorry, he's in the hospital. And well, he passed away in the hospital, never got to see him or talk to him again. That was sad because, like I said, Ken was a tremendous individual, easygoing. I mean, I only saw him mad one time, but and that was, of course, something that he should have been mad about. But the guy was just one of the friendliest individuals, easygoing as a president. Matter of fact, I lucked out because not only was I his vice president, but when I was president of the California Hawaii Elks Association, 95, 96, he was Grand Exalted Ruler. He was just ready to go out in 95. He was going out in July, so I got to serve under him for about 4 months. And that to me was a great honor. It really was. Yeah, he was a tremendous person.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'll never forget him. He and Rosemary both. Like I say, Frank and I have always remained close. Actually, we were DDs together too. And we've always, every time we get together at state convention, you know, we're always there. He and his wife and Carol and I actually sit at the same table most of the time. And we've always gotten along. And I think there's only 3 of us vice presidents that are still alive.
What advice would you give a new elk or an elk that wants to move forward in elkdom?
My advice, and I've done this with a number of the people that I meet with all the time, I tell them that don't push yourself. Do the job that you are given. Do it to the best of your ability. You will be noticed, and you will continue from there. If you push yourself, sometimes that drives people away. And that's been my belief. And like I said, that's what I always tell everybody, because some people come in, they say, well, I want to do this and I want to do that. I says, well, don't push for it. I said, just do your job. You'll be noticed.
Yeah. That's great advice. Yeah. Frank Keller says the same thing all the time.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I saw his review last night. I listened to it. I thought it was pretty cool. We do have the same beliefs on a lot of things.
Yes, you do. You do. Are you still active in your own home lodge?
Oh God, yeah. I've been secretary now. This is my 11th year as secretary, and I'm the advisor to the lodge. I'm there every Tuesday night. Well, I'm there every day, Monday through Friday, for at least 4 hours doing my work and everything. And I'm there every Tuesday night for a meeting. I'm active within the district. Matter of fact, the district leaders have a problem. They call me and we work it out together. I am an advisor for another lodge in our district. I'm also sitting on the trustees for probationary committee, and I'm the chairman of the probationary committee at another lodge. But I'm still very, very involved in everything.
Okay.
Yeah, even though I took emeritus, I think it was 2005 or something like that. And my wife was laughing. She says, "You never took emeritus." I took emeritus. I was district leader for 15 years. And then I asked to, retire. And I'm still there. It's amazing because when you become vice president, they always say, well, we'd like to have you involved for 5 years, 10 years. Then you become district deputy and they ask the same thing. When you could become a state president, they ask you for at least 10 years after that. And then as grand trustee, they want you to involve. Well, I was president. It's been 27 years ago. I've been in Elk for 59 years this year. And I'm still as active today. Matter of fact, I have never had a year that I did not have a position of some sort within the lodge, district, state, Grand Lodge. So, and I don't think there's many people that can say that.
No, probably not. Being a past president, but being a past grand trustee, what is your current job now?
Well, I'm on the advisory board with Frank on the California Hawaii Elks Association. And I am chairman of the investment committee for C.H.E.A and C.H.E.A. I've been on that committee. This is my third year. We take care of all the investments, the money investments for them. And like I said, I'm involved. Our sponsors, Jim Grillo and Bob Dutzman, every once in a while they'll call me and they say, Anthony, can you help taking care of this problem? Sure, I'll do it. So, but like I said, I'm there. I'm active in anything that comes up. Those are the things that I'm assigned to right now. But they know that they can just call me. I have a hard time saying no.
Yeah, it seems to be the big thing in Elks.
That's right.
Not being able to say no. You just say, okay.
That's right.
Do you have any regrets in Elkdom?
No, not really. I have enjoyed, you have your ups and downs, and you just take them the way they are and don't worry about it. And no matter how down you are, sometimes there's always going to be the up part, which you can really enjoy. And that's all I can say is be honest with yourself, be cool, enjoy one another, and everything will go great.
Is there anything you want to say?
Well, like I said, my biggest thing is get along with one another. I see lodges with so many charges for what I call stupidity problems. If they would just sit down, talk to one another, and work it out. I mean, there is nothing that serious in Elkdom that it can't be worked out. Just like in your own business, in life itself, you have a problem. I was taught that many, many years ago by some past Grand Exalted rulers, Horace Wisely, and a number of them that have been supporters of mine and my wife, past state presidents. They all said the same thing. Sit down, talk the problem out, work it out. You don't need to have charges. Get it over with. Life is too short.
Yes, it is.
That's my main thing.
Okay. Do you have any exciting stories you want to share about being president?
Oh, my wife said one thing. Yeah, I can bring that up. We were on one visitation in the Central California, and they had set up a hot air balloon with the Navy. And so we got there, and the vice or the district leader at that time knew that I really didn't care if I was on a balloon or not. My wife was the one that really wanted to go. And So we were in line, ready to go on the balloon, and he comes up to me and he says, God, he said, I hate to tell you this, but he said the balloon got a hole in it, and they can't repair it. And I'm sitting there laughing. I says, oh, yeah, right. This is one of those big jokes, right? And he says, no, I'm really serious. And they really did have a hole in the balloon, so I guess it wasn't meant to be. Like Carol says, I had my hands like this, prayed, thank God. I will bring up one other thing, because this is something that I think is it's worthy of. When I made my official visit to Hawaii, my vice president had been a Navy person, and he knew that I had been in the Coast Guard. So when we got there, he says, Anthony, I have a special deal we're going to do for you. And I said, oh, what's that? And he says, you'll see. They picked me up in a limo and they brought me to the Navy yard. And we went into the Admiral's office, and he was the one in charge of Pearl Harbor. And we met there and shook hands and talked for a little while. And he says, come on, he said, you're going to get your boarding on my private yacht. So we got on the yacht and we went to the Arizona. Now, I've been to the Arizona many times, and I don't know if you have or not, but there's the public entrance. And instead of going to the public entrance, we went to the Navy entrance. And it's around towards the backside. I mean, we can still see the main entrance, but it's separated. It's guarded off and everything. And I was going to place a wreath on the Arizona. And we got out, and I looked and I said, wow, this is a different place. He says, this is the entrance for Navy personnel. And so I got out, and all these people are taking pictures and they're talking and everything else. And the Admiral puts his finger up and he says, everybody, he says, I want a moment of silence. He says, we have a dedication or a presentation we're going to have here. And boy, you could have heard a matter of fact, talking about it gives me goosebumps. And so I made my presentation. I put the wreath out and said a few words and everything. And when I finished, then, everybody started clapping and all that. We got back on the yacht and left. The next day, they took me to the Punch Bowl. And again, there's a chapel there. And most people enter from the front of the chapel. Well, the Navy brought me in from the backside. And I was able to go to the unknown soldier tomb. And I was able to put the wreath there. And I tell you, both of those, I will never forget in my whole life. Beautiful.
Amazing.
Like I said, it gets to me today.
Yeah, going and seeing the Arizona in the Punch Bowl is absolutely amazing.
Yep. So those are the two things that really touched me a lot in my year as president, besides all the other things that we have to do. But I have a lot of cute stories I could tell, but not at this time.
Okay. Well, I'm always available if you want to share stories.
All righty.
Was there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we've covered quite a bit, Patrick.
Yes, we did, very quickly.
Yeah.
Like you knew the questions in advance. You just knew how to go right to them.
Yeah. I went over them and I said, well, this could lead into this and lead into that,
It's like you're a professional speaker or something.
That's one thing that I had the hardest thing in my life was speaking. They were all against me in school because I couldn't get in front of anybody to talk. And that's what really scared me about going through the chairs even and doing ritual. I have Tourette's syndrome, and it was very difficult for me. And yet when I finished, when I was state president, I talked in front of 1,000 people, or actually, I think it was 12 or 1,300, 1,500 people at the convention in Anaheim when I was sworn in. And I had people tell me I could never do that. And it worked. And hey, I'm still here and, still doing things. So Matter of fact, I had a lot of mothers come up to me afterwards that their children had the same thing. And I even talked to a few of them. One was trying to commit suicide, and I was able to talk to them and tell them that, life is better, and you can get over a lot of this stuff. It's tough. People make fun of you, make comments and everything else, but life is too short. You have to look over that and just think about what you can do and not what other people say about you. That's basically it.
So you took a weakness and made it a strength.
That's correct.
That's amazing. Not everybody can get past those weaknesses to build them into strengths. So
that's right.
Wonderful. So congratulations on being able to do that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome, and good luck with being secretary. Are you going to go for another 5 or 15 or 11 years?
Well, I'll tell you what. I was going to resign this year, and my son-in-law is the loyal knight, and he says, "Dad, if you resign," he says, "I'll drop." And I said, "No, I want to see you as exalted ruler." So he says, "You got to stay in." I says, "Okay, I'll do this." I says, "I'll stay in for 2 more years if elected." And he started to laugh. He says, "What do you mean if elected?" He says, "You're in." And I said, "I'll do it until you're finished." But now I'm having other officers come up to me and say, "You can't quit, you can't quit." But I have a person that I'm training, and hopefully that person will be able to take over once I get, I decide to retire. And the thing is, if I retire, it's only as secretary. I'm still going to be involved with the Elks. That's my life, and so we'll see what's going to happen in 2 years.
Makes sense. Yeah, I was talking to a past district deputy last night, and he says, I keep reading these articles in the magazines that say, "Oh, make sure you invite your friends and family down to the lodge." He goes, "All my friends are already Elks."
Yeah.
I've been an Elk for 25 years. They're all my friends.
That's right. Yeah. I have very few friends that are not Elks, because as soon as I find out they're not an Elk, we try to get them in.
Well, that's what we're supposed to be doing, isn't
That's
it?
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anthony, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me. Appreciate it.
No problem. And again,
Carol,
thank you very much.
You're welcome. And Carol, thank you for setting the Zoom up.
You're welcome, Patrick. Looking forward to meeting you.
We'll see you at midterm, maybe.
We'll see you then. You guys have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you. You take care.
I will. You too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. I would like to thank past association president and past grand trustee Anthony Mauro for taking his time out of his schedule to sit down and talk with me. After this interview, I feel like I've known him for years, and I hope you all feel the same way. It's important for us to learn from the past, learn the history, where we've been, what we've done, and what we've accomplished, to see where we can go in the future and how we can succeed. Until next time, I'm Patrick H. reminding you, it's great to be an Elk.
Yeah.